My name is Kat, and today I want to talk about the books that I need to read in 2018. So this video includes a paid promotion with Disney Publishing, and we're actually just gonna jump right in and get started with that book, which is The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton. This is a brand new release, like it just came out on February 6th, and it is the first book in a new duology. It takes place in a world that is based off of New Orleans, except everyone who lives there is born gray and damned, and beauty is like the most coveted commodity. And the bells have the ability to control beauty. They can save people, they can make them beautiful. Our main character is a girl named Camellia. She's a belle, but she's not satisfied just being a regular average belle. She wants to be the favorite belle. She wants to work in the palace and serve the queen and king. But once she arrives at the court, she starts to realize that being the favorite belle might not be all it's cracked up to be. And she also starts to discover something about the belle's abilities. Like, they aren't quite what they seem, and there's a mystery involving that aspect as well. So yeah, sounds awesome, and I'm very excited to get to it. I'm especially interested in the discussion and themes surrounding the commodification of beauty, because I find that fascinating, and also I'm just always down for a book with court politics and intrigue. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like this one. I gotta get to it soon. The next book that I have here is not a new release of 2018. Most of the books in this video are coming out this year, but there are a few that I already own that I need to get to this year. And one of those books is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Why have I not yet read this? What's wrong with me? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Laini Taylor is one of my favorite authors of all time. And it is absurd that I haven't yet read this book. I'm thinking that I probably want to do a reading vlog while I read it, just because I feel like it's gonna be an experience. But yeah, I gotta read it this year. It's gotta happen. Is the second book coming out this year? I'm not sure, but either way, I'm reading this year. The next release that I am anticipating is Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. I adored Ashley's previous book, Geekerella, which is kind of a modern Cinderella retelling, and I'm not a huge fan of Cinderella, but I still loved that book. Enter this book, which is kind of described as Anastasia in space. And I am 1,000,000% sold, because space, I'm in. Anastasia, I'm so in. Ashley Poston, I'm in. I cannot wait for this book. The next book I want to talk about is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This book isn't out yet. It comes out in early March, but there is already so much buzz and hype surrounding it. I am so intrigued. I don't know a whole lot about it other than it is a debut novel. It's the first in a series or maybe a duology. I'm not sure how many books there are gonna be. It's a West African inspired fantasy, and I don't think I've ever read anything similar to that before. So I am very intrigued by that, and I'm also so intrigued by all the buzz and hype. This is one of the most talked about debuts of 2018. In the young adult world, at least, that I've seen. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to getting my hands on this one. The next book that I gotta get to this year is another book that came out last year, and that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Much like Strange the Dreamer, I do not know why I haven't read this book yet. I've loved Adam's previous books. His stories are just so raw and powerful, and I know that I'm gonna experience a lot of feelings with this one. It's also not that long, and it takes place in just 24 hours, so it is the kind of book that I know I could fly through. What am I waiting for? Actually, again, like Strange the Dreamer, I kind of want to do a reading vlog while I'm reading this book, because I feel like it could be a fun experience. I am determined to read this book this year, especially because Adam has another book coming out, a book that he co-wrote with Becky Albertalli. It's called What If It's Us, and I really want to read that one too, but I want to read this one first. This one, and then the book that Adam and Becky wrote together, and also Becky Albertalli's spring release, Leah on the Offbeat, which is a sequel companion to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, which I adored, and the movie is coming out, which I've already seen, and I loved it so much, and I'm so excited to get back to these characters, even though we're not following Simon as the main character, we're following Leah. We still get to see them all, and oh, this sounds so great. I'm so excited. Next up on my list are 2 March releases that I'm just going to briefly talk about. First is Restore Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the 4th book in the Shatter Me series, which was originally a trilogy, but now we're getting, I believe, another trilogy. And book 1 of this new trilogy, book 4 of the series overall, it comes out in March, and I am so excited for it. Also out in March is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the 3rd and final book in the Illuminate trilogy, which I've just loved. The series is fantastic. The conclusion is coming. I'm living for it. The next book that I already own and I just really need to frickin' read already is Wave Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Oh god! This behemoth of a book is over 1,000 pages, and it's the first book in a very long series in which 3 books are already out, and I own all 3 of them, and I haven't even started this one yet. So I'm gonna read this one this year, finally, probably. The next book that I want to get to this year is the 3rd book in the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I am loving this series so much, mostly due to Apollo, who is, of course, our main character in this series. He's so sassy and, self-centered, but it comes off in a really fun way, or at least I think it's fun. I know that some people aren't the hugest fan of him because he is kind of douchey at times, but I adore Apollo and I'm loving his series, and book 3 is coming out. For the next 2 books I want to talk about, one I already own and the other is coming out in 2018, but I need to read the one that I already own first. Yeah, I'm talking about Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas and the final Throne of Glass book, book 7, which is coming out in October, November, I don't know, fall 2018. I've been a little hesitant to read this one after Empire of Storms. I wasn't sure how I felt about Cale and him going off and having his own novella, which turned into a full-length novel, which is now book 6 in the series. I don't know how I feel about this, but I am so attached to these characters and so invested in this series that I gotta see it through to the end. So I'm gonna read this one. I have heard some good things about it. People have enjoyed this book, which is very promising. And I gotta get ready for book 7. I can't believe the Throne of Glass series is finally coming to an end. This series has been a huge part of my booktube life, and it's wrapping up. And I am admittedly nervous about how it's gonna wrap up and if I'm going to like it as much as I liked the earlier books in the series, but we'll see. We'll see. Next up is a book that I have owned for a couple of years, and I've decided that I finally need to get to it this year because even though there's been no official announcement, I am kind of convinced that the next book in the series has to be coming out this year. It just has to be. I'm talking about Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith. This is the 3rd book in the Cormoran Strike series, which I read the first 2 books and really enjoyed. It's a little out of my typical reading lineup, but I do quite like these books. This came out in 2015, and I don't know, I never got around to it. It wasn't super pressing, so I just never got around to it. But, like I said, I'm convinced book 4 has to be coming out this year. It's been 3 years in between books, and the first few have come out faster than that. I feel like book 4 is coming out this fall. So I want to read book 3. And if I'm wrong, then it doesn't matter. At least I read book 3. It's fine. It'll be fine. And finally, the last book in this video is also probably the last book release of 2018 that I care about, because it's not out until December 4th, which hurts. But oh my god, I am like dying of anticipation for Queen of Air and Darkness, the third and final book in the Dark Artifices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. I love this series. Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows were amazing. Like, I loved them and they destroyed me. And I feel like this book is just going to like escalate that even further. Like, I'm going to love it, but it is going to kill me, because Cassie is probably going to kill characters that I love, and like the pain will transfer to me and I'll feel it all, but I'll kind of like it. This book doesn't come out for like 10 months and I'm already so anxious about it. I'm also tentatively planning to do a reread of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows in November-ish. So we'll see if that happens. I do want to reread these before the final book, and I need to read the final book like as soon as I get it in my hands. So I'll probably be reading these sometime this fall. All right, there you have it. Those are all of the books that I need to read in 2018. Obviously, there are plenty of other releases that I am anticipating. They just didn't quite make it into my top list of books that like I'm determined to read this year. Also, please feel free to leave a comment down below talking about the books that you are excited for this year, because I would love to know what books are both excited for, or maybe you have some that I didn't include that I should check out. Let me know down below. What was that? But yeah, that's everything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will have another video up soon. So I will see you then. Goodbye!